It's Katie Kate on the Homestead. I'm out here in the garden. The mosquitoes are absolutely terrible. So this is what it's come to. I have spent the last 2 days literally holed up inside trying to avoid being eaten. And today I need to get outside and get some stuff done. So I'm all geared up and I am in the garden weeding. This is my protective gear. I have my big heavy work pants on so they can't bite through my clothes. I've got a long sleeve gardening shirt, my mosquito net hat, and gloves. And so far so good. I haven't had to put any bug spray on, and I don't think I'm getting eaten. I started some weeding here yesterday, but I was finding it extremely tedious with all the stones I've laid down, so I'm just taking a break on that for now. And this is the area that I want to put my cucumbers, so I need to get this cleaned out. I've managed to get some things into the ground. I've planted probably 60 sunflowers around the property, and most of my corn is in the ground. Today I want to get the cucumbers out here, and this whole area is taken over by dandelions, so I'm just prepping to do a transplant. Look at this beautiful strawberry patch, just doing great. It's been extremely wet here. We just have not had a break. The ground is sopping. The mosquitoes are breeding like crazy. We haven't had any hot, sunny days to burn everything off. I have managed to get the whole property mowed once, but the grass is already back up to my ankles, so I am gonna have to get out and do that. It's looking like Sunday's gonna be at least not raining, but they're calling for rain pretty much every day for the next 2 weeks. So this is what we are contending with. It's a really bad year for mosquitoes. We are just infested. So yeah, we're having a really wet spring. And I can't really complain. It feels a little bit insensitive to complain when I see that wildfire season has already started here in Canada, in the West. And so I would rather be dealing with mosquitoes than that. But it's been sloppy. And as I said, I've been cooped up for 2 days. I've been working on this crochet project. I was teaching myself how to crochet, so that was keeping me busy. But the dogs have been cooped up too, and we all just need to get outside today, get some fresh air, and get some shit done around here. Bugs are definitely a nuisance, and people really hate them. It's actually an issue for some people. Like, they can't handle bugs at all. And I know when we first moved here, it was something for especially my kid to really get used to. They were really bothersome, and they upset him back then. It's funny how 2 years later, it's just something we deal with all the time. If you really hate bugs or have a fear of bugs, the country is not for you. Last fall, when I went into the city to visit my kid, it's funny because I stayed in a hotel, and that was one of the big things I noticed, was there were no bugs in the room. And it's just so funny that living out here, bugs in the house, it's just a part of life. I mean, no matter how much I try to keep the doors closed, we have the Asian beetles that look like the ladybugs that live in the soy fields. So we tend to get just swarms of them in the spring, and then again later in the year when they cut the fields down. And they're everywhere. They swarm the lights. I have to use bug spray around the windows and in my porches, just to keep them contained and to try to keep them from breeding. So Yeah, it is. It's definitely a thing in the country. My kid's boyfriend hates bugs, and he came for a visit at Christmas, and even then it was difficult for him. And I told him, unfortunately, you can't come here in the summer because you'll never be able to deal with it. There's so many. Many decades ago, when I was in university, I had a job um, as the caretaker of a private insect and reptile collection. You know, it was kind of one of those guys who would go around to schools and do the Snakes Alive programs and stuff. So I just had this little part-time job where I, cleaned the cages and fed the insects and reptiles. It was a pretty cool gig. Downtown Toronto, Queen Street, right behind the Big Bop, which was a club that was downtown. It was in a warehouse behind the Big Bop. So there's not a lot of insects that really freak me out. I mean, I've handled giant cockroaches and millipedes and centipedes and all kinds of things. But obviously, I don't like being bitten. But for the most part, bugs don't weird me out too much. And I can kind of cohabitate with them as long as they aren't hurting me by biting me. The little Asian beetles, they do bite if they land on you, but it's not like a mosquito bite. It's just a really, quick little nip. And then they don't really itch or anything afterwards. They're just a nuisance. And there have been times of the year when I walk out my porch and I'm just swarmed. And again, I just hightail it back inside and try to wait it out for a couple days. All right, well, that's it. I'm out, guys. It's later in the day. I tried to do some weed whacking and my machine is not working, so that's frustrating. I got back in the garden, did some more weeding, and I'm about to plant some sprouts, so I will keep you posted as they grow. Until next time, happy, healthy living. I'm Katie Cade on a bug-infested homestead, and I'll see you later.